wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my astrology family. This is Lada from astrolada.com, and these are your October 2021 video horoscopes for all the 12 signs. And by the way, October will be a very fascinating month because we have 4 planets turning direct, which is very positive to some extent because it means many areas of your life will start moving ahead in a positive direction without surprises and complications. So we expect a big turn of the winds happening in October. But if you want to have more specific predictions for your personal chart only, you can check for free your personal transits on my free transit calendar. You can see a video out of it here. And each transit is specific for you. No one else in the world will have them at the same time as you. So you can really follow what's exactly happening, like a professional astrologer will do it for you from my transit calendar, which is for free for everyone. And now enjoy the 2021 October videos. Hello Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Let's see how this month progress day by day, almost, when the important events are happening. Around the 4th of October, Mercury from your 12th house will receive a trine from Jupiter, maybe a day before you can feel it or a day after. And some good news can come in regards to family, to more private matters, some good developments there to organize something with family as well, because Jupiter is in your 4th house making the trine, or some support coming to you, or some meaningful and deep and inspiring conversations that comes which is more intimate as well, because these are intimate houses about private matters, about way more soulful conversations about your fears, about your yearnings and dreams, and you can get some support as well from a family member around that time. Or if you have something important to do, like arrange something in property, with home, with house, do it around the 4th, when a beautiful trine from your 12th house to your 4th house is happening. Some of you might even receive some communications from deceased loved ones, because 12th house is the house of the other world where Mercury is. And actually the whole month you're very much attuned towards the invisible realms, because look at that gang of planets in your 12th house. This is you, Scorpio, but the 12th house is the so-called house that is before you, and this is the house where the life force gets drained from a person when it's activated, but only so they can withdraw actively from the world, and they can go within themselves a little bit. They can without distraction, so to speak, and rethink, let's say, or just observe or relax more. So you can notice that a big part of the month, not only are you more psychically attuned, more sensitive, you pick up on others' feelings very powerfully, on the motivations of others. You already do that, but this will be so much enhanced in October. You don't even need to speak with someone. You just look at the person and know what they're feeling and what they want, basically. But you might also feel a little bit less motivated for some time this month, because the 12th house requires you to rest more. And if you can take a break and go somewhere, if you can travel at all, if you can travel, go to faraway place, to a retreat, to spa this month, especially till the 20th, this will be fantastic. This will be the best way you can utilize those energies. If you can't travel, then you need some time alone in meditation, to sleep a bit more, just to lounge and watch TV basically or if you're someone who is very active and you feel frustrated by that, go and help others, because the 12th house requires that we give more than we receive. And if we engage with the outer world, it should be in an action of charity, or in an action of helping. It might be helping a friend or loved one, or someone you don't know at all. Because this is when we give, we don't receive, we give. So be in the state of mind, and you're going to go very smoothly through that energy. The negative side of this energy, especially because we have Mars and Mercury conjunct around the 8th, 9th, 10th, you can feel it very strong. Even with the new moon on the 6th, it already starts this conjunction. So the first, I would say, 14 days of the month, how it can play out negatively. Mars Mercury conjunction in the 12 houses, for example, some backbiting, someone talks behind your back, you can find out and get into a fight or quarrel, because the 12th house is a very hidden house, something that comes to the surface about some activities that have been happening behind your back. So be a bit cautious about that, but what can you do about it? And I would advise you, don't you get into such activities, gossiping, broken phone, telling to one, you hear something, tell to another, and it can be some complications, like you heard something, I heard it from the grapevine, and you tell it to someone comes to you and say, oh, it's not what I said, why did you say that? So because of such misunderstanding in communications, and the communication getting twisted and in the information, you can enter into some kind of a power struggle, because Mars is involved after all. So these are things to be careful about. Or also, 12th house is a house where someone can con us or mislead us. Mars is also someone who doesn't always necessarily wishes us good. And with Mercury, be very careful in transactions, whether it's financial transactions, whether it's commercial transactions of some sort, signing papers and documents. I would advise you not to do this month, until not to at least not till the 18th, because there can be some misunderstandings, some misdetails that can create conflict and frustration. So I'm warning you for that. If you can avoid it, avoid it. If not, be prepared. Something like that might be happening, but it's a good time to prepare behind the scenes on something, on a project you're working, especially people that are in more imaginative fields, where they're designer of website, graphic design, or someone who writes poetry or music, or needs isolation to write a book or articles, or to prepare something behind the scenes, or to research something fantastic. Time the whole month with so many planets in the 12th house of research and isolation. So you can be very productive if you're an artist, musician, if you work in isolation, like hospital places, or on some retreat or some spa. Okay, that would be a happening month. Or in hospitals, or I said hospitals, or in some yoga studio, or on some spiritual work. Wow, this is a month that you're go, go, go. A lot of new projects you can start, completing old ones till Mercury turns direct on the 18th. But all other people that are not into such fields, either imaginative or creative or connected to foreign travel, I would advise them to take it a bit easier. I would advise them to rest a bit more, not to try to get so much involved with the worldly activities. And if they feel less motivated, take a break, don't force yourself. And then the sun, after the 22nd, 3rd of October, will enter your sign, and you'll be rejuvenated again. You'll be refreshed. You'll start feeling energy, or those ideas that you have, because the 12th house is very imaginative, very introspective. You might be thinking about the past more. You might bring up things from the past in communications a lot, because Mercury retrograde in the 12th house makes you dig in the past and start speaking with whoever is around you about such topics. And it might be fantastic time if you have an astrologer or a psychologist or a counselor to dig deep that month, and you get amazing gems. You get some huge revelations and breakthroughs about your motivations, about past lifetimes, about your deep and unseen and hidden motivations, that it will become more clear to you. So yeah, and also research, as I said, if you're a student or anything, research that also requires more isolation, and it can be very good activity for you. But don't start new projects, I would advise you, unless you are Libra rising or Libra sun, and this new moon and this conjunction for new beginnings is happening if you have Libra ascendant, for example, or Libra sun, then you can start those things. But if you're Scorpio sun, Scorpio ascendant, and you don't have Libra or Scorpio sun, Libra ascendant or sun, you should be, don't initiate things this month until the 23rd, 4th onwards. I would say the whole October. maybe complete all things, because the 12th house is about completing, ending certain matters, and so on. And Mars, your planet, is making conjunction with the Sun. Uh, is making the conjunction with the Sun around the 9th, which means that you can get some inspiration, a great new idea that will be active for the next 2.5 years, that might be giving results, or you might be making it to happen over the next 2.5 years. But you're gonna start acting on it, I advise, only after there is a new moon in Scorpio in your sign. So that's one of the big focus that is happening. And if there's some miscommunications happening in your 12th house, where Libra is, just a second, sorry, someone is talking out, stop for a bit. We have some fantastic news, because already on the 11th of October, Saturn turns direct, and it's been retrograde for the last 4 months, and especially affecting areas connected to your home, place of living, your routines at home, responsibilities to parents or younger children and family, and things might have felt quite tough. Uh, Anything to do with property, with place of living, with family, with relationships with family, and emotional well-being. While Saturn was retrograde there, maybe things were moving very slow. If you're trying to buy or sell property or fix a property, things were being drawn out. They required 3 times more effort. Maybe your hopes for something connected with your family were delayed. But this is all turning around in October, because Saturn is starting to move direct, and all complications, difficulties there are going to be removed one by one. And you're going to start moving ahead with those matters. Plus, Jupiter is turning direct after that on the 18th, together with Mercury. So you feel such a huge relief emotionally, psychologically, because all the retrograde planets, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, are in your emotional houses. So it might have felt till the 18th, might have feel like you're regurgitating a lot of feelings, going kind of very deep emotionally, psychologically, getting a bit, even you already have those qualities, but now it's like even more introverted till the 18th, and then you're gonna feel like a big relief, like you reassessed your feelings, and after the 18th you'd feel like a heavy psychological and emotional burden drops from you. And you might even get a lot of insights when the planets turn direction, Jupiter and Saturn, in regards to your family karma, family patterns, data, because this is the foundation of your horoscope, the 4th house, where the two most important planets are retrograde and have been for a while. That's your emotional foundation, and it's your connection with ancestors. We have our individual karma, but we also have ancestral karma and patterns that we repeat. So this can be like a big insight, and again, the 12th house is also helping you with digging deep into the past, but seeing where the problems and issues are really stemming from, and shifting the perspective and the consciousness about such attachments that you have to the same patterns of your family, your parents, your mother, grandfather, whatever. And you can have a big breakthrough this month, because when planets turn direction, your whole consciousness and perspective starts looking at the matter from a different angle, and you're gonna start feeling huge emotional, psychological relief. So this is one of the great news. So great month for such deep work, and for more intimate contact, more intimate communications and conversations on such deeper topics, more mysterious topics, more soulful, as I said. So I think if you do this work on that, you can have great results. Plus, you can a very good day, anything to do with property, would be the 15th, where the Sun and with family matters, where the Sun and Jupiter are in trine. So if anything you have to do, important then. Plus, I forgot to say that for you, Jupiter rules the 2nd house of money. So if there were some complications with money and resources, some delays, so you're working hard to secure more financial stability, when Jupiter turns direct after the 18th, these things will start untangling and getting resolved and improved. And after that, Jupiter also rules not only your second house but your fifth house. So if you've had some romantic delays, some romantic complications, some romantic, let's say, need to reassess matters or even creative blockages, you're going to start feeling again from the end of October gradually that you're becoming a bit more inspired, a bit more confident. Fifth house rules those matters. That complications in love life and creativity and creative projects are starting to be removed, and you start to see positive results moving ahead. So yeah, quite a few good things are happening there for you guys. Just this frustration that it's more hidden and emotional, it can explode from time to time this month. And it's not so much directed externally, it's very internal because it's hidden, it's in the 12th house. So might be more a bit more self-destructive, but you have great help from Jupiter trining here your Mars. And one other important thing is that around the, did I say this already? I got interrupted, so I don't know. Around the 9th again, which is probably the most important day in October, the 9th, when the Sun, Mars, and Mercury triple conjunction. This can be a new beginning connected with some imaginative project for you. It can be a new beginning connected to faraway country. It can be a new beginning connected to some spiritual project or realization, or some spiritual work, or some psychological work that you're starting. And the Mars, which is you, will be joining with the Sun, which rules your 10th house. So around that period, there can be some very important development regarding your career. It might be a bit more hidden because it's the 12th house, not so public. But something important decision that is taken, that decision that is made regarding your career, or even new beginning there, because you, Mars, are joining with your career, the Sun, and it might be some important development with a person in power of some sort, with an authority figure, with a father figure as well. Some big decision that's being taken, plus some very important decision, a new beginning or development that happens between you, Mars, and Mercury, which is also connected to long-term project and goals, because Mercury rules the 11th house, gains and earns, and Mercury does also the 11th house. Some important developments connected to, what else does Mercury rule? Your 8th house, mutual finances, inheritances, insurances, taxes, or some even very deep occult truths and secrets. Not only occult, but it might be some deep hidden information that comes to the surface that you find out. Some surprising information that turns things around for you. So watch out those days, not in a negative way only. Watch them out for very important developments, because your planet gets activated by Mercury, by Sun, starts 2 new cycles basically. And those new cycles, as I said, you're involved personally. They connect the 8th house, we talked about it, the 11th house, the 10th house. So fascinating stuff. So thank you so much, Scorpio. If you want to know your specific transits for the month, the way professional astrologer do them, you can check the free transit calendar. 50,000 people are using it right now, 50. And every time you log in, you see the next week basically how the transit will be, and you can read them, what they mean. So it's way more specific. You can deep dive and research a little bit, especially since October will be so more introspective for you, even though things start moving ahead in a positive way, more towards the end of the month as well. You can enjoy a bit of occult mystical knowledge there.